Commander Zektar's mandibles clicked in amusement as he watched the human transport vessels descend onto the contested moon of Kepler 442c. The Vorthak general had witnessed countless species attempt to claim the strategic mining outpost, but none had approached with such casualness. "Look at them," he chittered to his second-in-command, pointing a clawed appendage at the human ships. "They're not even in military formation. Half their vessels appear to be civilian craft." The humans had indeed arrived in an eclectic mix of vessels. Some military transports, yes, but also what appeared to be tour buses, recreational vehicles, and even a few ships with obvious camera equipment mounted on their hulls. As the first wave disembarked, Zektar's optical sensors zoomed in on the humans below. They were taking pictures. "Sir," his aide, Crix buzzed nervously, "perhaps we should engage them before they establish a foothold." Zektar waved dismissively. "Let them play tourist for a while. It will make their defeat all the more amusing." He had good reason for confidence. The Vorthak held the high ground in the ancient fortress that dominated the moon's surface, with overlapping fields of fire and energy barriers that had repelled 7 different invasion attempts. The humans, meanwhile, seemed more interested in the scenic crater formations than in military strategy. Through his scopes, Zektar watched human soldiers, if they could even be called that, wandering around the landing zone in small groups. Some were indeed taking photographs of the alien landscape. Others appeared to be collecting rock samples. A few had set up what looked suspiciously like picnic tables. "Are they eating?" Crix asked, incredulous. "Apparently." Zektar's amusement grew. In all his cycles of warfare, he had never seen an invading force stop for lunch. "Perhaps we should let them finish their meal before we obliterate them. It's only sporting." But as the local sun began its descent toward the horizon, something changed in the human behavior. The casual wandering became more purposeful. The picture-taking groups began to spread out in what Zektar slowly realized were precise reconnaissance patterns. Those picnic tables were being converted into communication and coordination hubs. "Sir?" Crix's voice carried a note of concern now. "Their movement patterns are becoming more organized." Zektar studied the tactical display more carefully. The humans had spent the entire day appearing to sightsee, but in doing so, they had mapped every inch of the surrounding terrain. Every photo taken had been at a strategic vantage point. Every rock sample collected had been from locations that would later prove crucial for cover or line of sight. "Clever little mammals," he admitted grudgingly. They were conducting reconnaissance under the guise of tourism. As the sun sank lower, the transformation accelerated. The recreational vehicles were quickly converted into mobile command centers. The tour buses disgorged not more tourists, but specialized military equipment that had been cleverly disguised. The humans with cameras revealed themselves to be forward spotters, already in position at optimal locations around the fortress. "How did we not detect their military hardware?" Crix demanded. "Because they disguised it as civilian equipment," Zektar realized. "Look, that camera equipment includes targeting lasers. Those rock collection vehicles have been deploying sensor networks all day." The first human assault began just as the sun touched the horizon. But it didn't come from where any military strategist would expect. Instead of a frontal assault on the fortress's main defenses, the attack came from 17 different directions simultaneously, every single position the humans had casually visited during their day of sightseeing. The Vorthak fortress, designed to repel conventional military assaults, found itself under siege from angles no architect had ever considered. Humans emerged from positions they had scouted while appearing to admire the view. Equipment that had masqueraded as tourist gear all day suddenly revealed its true deadly purpose. "Sir, they're inside the outer perimeter," Crix reported, panic creeping into his voice. "How is that possible? Our sensors show no breach." "They're not breaching, sir. They're using the maintenance tunnels they mapped during their geological surveys this morning." Zektar watched in growing disbelief as his carefully planned defenses crumbled. Every weakness in the fortress had been identified and exploited. The humans had turned a day of apparent leisure into the most comprehensive intelligence gathering operation he had ever witnessed. The battle was over by the time the sun set completely. As Zektar stood in his captured command center, wrists bound with human restraint devices, he stared at the human commander who had accepted his surrender. The woman was still wearing what appeared to be casual hiking clothes, though her equipment harness told a different story. How? He asked simply. Colonel Sarah Chen smiled, adjusting the camera around her neck, which Zektar now realized had been recording tactical data all day. You assumed that because we looked like tourists, we were only tourists. You forgot that humans have been exploring hostile territory for fun long before we ever did it for war. She gestured to her troops, who were efficiently securing the facility while still maintaining their oddly casual demeanor. Every human child grows up hearing stories about adventurers who explored dangerous places just to see what was there. We've been perfecting the art of reconnaissance disguised as curiosity for millennia. Zektar's mandibles clicked in what might have been respect. And the civilian equipment? Dual purpose from the start. A camera that can record a sunset can also paint targets for artillery. A geological survey drill can take mineral samples or plant listening devices. A picnic cooler can store sandwiches or ammunition. She shrugged. We've learned to make our tools as versatile as our tactics. As the humans began their occupation of the facility, Zektar noticed they were still taking pictures, this time of the Vorthak technology they were cataloging. Even in victory, they maintained their curious, almost tourist-like approach to the alien environment. You really were sightseeing, he realized. Of course, Chen replied. The intelligence gathering was just a bonus. This moon has some genuinely spectacular geological formations. She showed him an image on her camera, a stunning vista of crystal formations in one of the craters, taken during the morning's reconnaissance. We humans have a saying, she continued, shouldering her pack. The best way to see the sights is to make sure you're around to appreciate them. She looked back at the fortress, now flying human flags. Mission accomplished on both counts. As the human tourists settled in for the night, Zektar understood why 7 military expeditions had failed where these apparent sightseers had succeeded. The humans hadn't just conquered a fortress, they had turned exploration itself into a weapon. And they had done it all before sundown.